Kate. I am a homemaker who is married to an engineer. Kyle and I have been married for 20. From early in the morning until late night, I'm busy with farm work and household chores. It is not that difficult.
Hey, Kate, this soup broth, you seasoned it, right? You're the wife in your household. Should get the broth, right?
You're only good at making bad decisions.
Compared to the sarcasm hurled at me by my mother-in-law and husband, it's not the least bit painful being busy with farm work and chores every single day. I am amazed at how often they have to complain about the soup I make.
I'm throwing this away because it's disgusting.
Just a moment, Mom.
My mother-in-law and my husband made the soup that they had been drinking in the sink. We've been married for 20 years, and this kind of harassment is a daily occurrence. Yet there is a reason why I am not my husband.
Grandma, that's a bit too much.
Eula called out to my mother-in-law in the kitchen. Eula will turn 17 this year. She's our daughter.
Eula, I can't let you eat such a sloppy dish, you see. You have to understand that.
Oh, really?
Are you ignoring your grandmother?
Eula ignored my mother-in-law and took me out into the hallway.
Let's get out of this house.
But this is your home, too.
That again?
And breakfast. Breakfast is served from 7 to 10 Lunch. Lunch is served from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Dinner. Dinner is served from 6 p.m. to 9
I don't want to eat with those people.
And after saying that, Eula went up to the second floor to... Apparently Eula was not convinced with what I said.
What should I do?
Looking down at the staircase, I could only mutter that. I think it's best to try and make this work in this house, but a few days after this, an incident occurs.
I have something to tell you, but I think I might be sick.
A few days later, I told this to I just received a notice from the case screening facility at the local center for another exam.
Okay, that's just great.
Huh. This guy is happy that his own sick, and as my husband grinned, he showed me a picture on his phone. The image showed my husband and a you embrace each other in a revealing hug.
Honey, is this a?
Well, that's what the world calls act. She is young and pretty, isn't she?
What are you talking about?
My husband's words made me yell at him without thinking.
What the hell? You got a problem with me. Get a D out.
My husband pushes me and curses me.
You forgot how much you owe us for you in this house. If you were a wife, you'd have the sense to not give a damn about your womanizing.
But adultery is an act of infidelity.
It's your fault you're not an attractive woman.
My husband responded plainly to my... Then my mother-in-law, startled by my husband's angry voice, came over.
Hey Mom, listen to me. Kate is really insane.
As my husband proudly told her that having an affair, he also appealed to her that it was for my sake to be repelled by infidelity. No matter how much she spoils her skull, she won't take my side this time, right? I was a fool to think, even for my mother-in-law, after hearing my story, said,
That's your fault.
What?
It is common for husbands to have at how small-minded of you to not allow. Think of Kyle, who is being blamed by...
My mother-in-law's statement left me speechless. Wouldn't she also hate it if her husband was having an affair?
Would my mother-in-law have been okay with that?
You are unfit to be a wife. I'd feel sorry for Kyle if he doesn't at least have a mistress.
I was stunned by my mother-in-law's statement. My husband then said this to me.
Oh, wow. You're going on an overseas trip with your girlfriend tomorrow? Until then, don't skimp on your work chores.
Are you sane?
Shut up. I don't like sick women. I don't want to be part of this.
My husband's words left me with my agape. We can't work as a couple anymore. But if we get divorced, Eula might stay in this house. I felt horrified at the thought. Anyway, I must try to avoid that. But things took an unexpected turn and progressed faster than I thought.
Let's separate. Please.
It was dinner time that day. I was bowing my head to my husband.
Mother, I'm not a child anymore.
I took a look at Eula, who was standing there staring at me in disbelief, and continued.
I have been enduring things for a long time for Eula's sake, but adultery is one thing I can't do. I will take Eula and leave this house.
Hey, Eula is my grandchild.
Why don't you have Kyle have a baby? With the girl he's in a relationship.
Huh, Dad. Are you really cheating?
Eula, don't be fooled by this woman. Husbands must have mistresses, and she's crazy for not being able to see that he loves her.
Grandma, shut up for a second.
Eula nailed it, and as expected, my mother-in-law shut up.
I'm not gonna pay you alimony. You say it's adultery, but you don't prove it. That means you can't sue me.
My anger was at its height when he words and laughed with amusement. But I cannot get too emotional here, because no matter what, I have to take Eula with me.
You don't have to pay. However, I will take Eula with me. And please do not contact us at all future.
There's no way I'm gonna let you raise Eula, will I?
That's right. You have to give Eula.
Besides, I'm sure it would be more fun for you.
Huh?
Mom, you might be ill, right? If you get divorced and take me with will only be troublesome for you.
Eula is so smart, unlike you.
Well said, Eula.
I was stunned to hear my daughters, but then Eula whispered this to me.
Mom, run away while Dad is on that. Don't worry, it's going to be all right. I'll tell you the details later.
Then Eula smiled as she said that. I nodded softly. Then While my husband and mother-in-law were at home, I went back to my parents. My husband kept calling me to come. I ignored him. Then I went to the hospital and got a checkup. It turned out that I had early stage cancer. I called my husband to report this.
Dear, I was sick after all.
I knew you were damaged goods. Okay, it is, but I'll get custody. I'm not gonna let a deadbeat, take Eula unless you have the means to keep her,
I could not answer my husband's words. I am sure Eula will be fine with remain. I have a plan that I discussed with. If it succeeds, Eula can live with me without any
That's right. I'm going on another trip abroad with my girlfriend. And in the meantime, I need you of the house. If you don't come, Eula will be doing the farm work along with her husband.
I bit my lip and endured my anger. But it's okay because our plan is, well. However, I'm about to be hospitalized. That means I cannot go to my husband.
Would you mind if my brother came on? I have to stay at the hospital.
What a useless wife. It can't be Levin let you do that.
Thank you, dear.
My husband's words made me chuckle. With this, our strategy will work. Thus, I divorced him, leaving you a husband. With the help of my parents, I managed to survive my illness. A year had passed since then. I even managed to get a job, and now I'm studying for my master's. I'm living alone in an apartment in hometown. Since I had been in the hospital for a year, I have not seen Eula.
I wonder how Eula is doing.
As I muttered this, there was a violent banging on the front door.
Kate, I know you're in there.
Help me, please, Kate!
What? Kyle and my former mother-in-law are coming over tonight.
I opened the door and Kyle and my former mother-in-law were standing there, in tears.
And why the heck are you here?
Ignoring my cold shoulder, they got down on their knees in front of the entrance.
Please stop Eula.
We were bad, so please tell Eula not to sue me.
What happened? And please stop kneeling. The neighbors will see.
Oh, sorry.
I agree. Getting down on my knees was too much.
They both say so and stand up looking embarrassed.
In the meantime, please come inside. Then we'll have a talk.
My husband and my ex-mother-in-law share a room with reservations. Then they told me something astonishing.
Eula left home.
Huh?
And what's more, she'll sue.
Is that?
Actually, this is what happened.
They explained to me about what had to Eula. Somehow, Eula took Kyle's bank book that he had hidden to use as evidence for his infidelity and away from home.
So, where is Eula?
At your brother's place.
You can't be serious.
My brother, Samuel, is a lawyer. In order to sue my husband for adultery, do I need proof that he had sexual intercourse with another woman? She seemed to have gone to my brother for advice.
Have you heard anything from your brother or from Yule?
No, I haven't.
If they ever say anything, don't ever sue us, okay?
Yes, please.
You understand, right? That's what does...
We're already divorced, though.
Just when I thought that I could finally start a new family, Eula's just trying to ruin it.
If you ever hear from Yule, make sure you tell her not to sue us.
What happened to that obedient behavior earlier? As soon as they saw that I wasn't going to be a problem, comment. As soon as they saw that I wasn't going to cause any trouble, they both went back to talking to me in their usual tone.
Hey, train fare.
We've come all the way here, so you should at least pay for our transportation.
Oh, I understand.
I was afraid to rebel and get into trouble. I offered them both a 100 bill. My ex-husband and mother-in-law took all the money. I went home.
Mom, how are you doing?
After they had gone, I received a phone call from Yule.
I'm so glad the plan worked.
Yeah, I got proof of the affair in your bank book that he took and hid away.
Where are you now?
Uncle's place. Once he saw the evidence of the affair taken with me. He smiled with satisfaction.
Hearing Eula's happy voice, I couldn't help but burst into laughter.
I never thought you would think of like this. A year ago, no matter how hard we sick, your uncle and I couldn't find anything about the affair.
That's why I told you. Everything's fine.
But how did you gather the evidence?
It's easy. Dad didn't lock his phone. So that's why I was able to get the messages and pictures of him and his affair partner.
But your dad and I are already divorced. Do you think I can claim compensation?
I asked my uncle about that too. He okay. Even after a divorce, there is still a statute of limitations. So if you don't go past that, you see for alimony.
I see. So that's why you stayed with your...
I didn't want to see the way Dad tormented you, so I wanted him to get hurt. Otherwise, that guy won't be sorry affair either.
I know. I won't waste your efforts.
Yes, in order to prove my husband's and to get back the savings my husband took me. Eula stayed with my husband.
Now we just need to put the finishing touches on it.
See.
But this was the beginning of a new... I then consulted my brother and prep file for alimony. Once I sent the materials for the recompensation by certified mail, I received this phone call from Kyle.
Hey, what do you mean you're charging alimony? Stop kidding with me.
I'm sorry. I have Eula's future to about. I just wanted to finish things with. So I had them send you a certified copy.
What S with you, 11? Settle it. And where is Eula?
Come on. I don't have to tell you that.
I've gotten used to my husband for me, so I was able to answer him back in a dignified manner.
Then please transfer the alimony to my account. Okay?
There's no way I'll pay. I will sue you for being a bastard. You better get ready.
My husband says, but I have already it. I've also discussed it with my brother and decided to file a claim for alimony against my husband's mistress. This is allowed by law, so the responsibility for alimony costs lies with adultery or cheating, considered to be on the other side. My husband's mistress was living in hometown, so the documents must be seen by family members. You can imagine what happened after.
I'm so sorry.
I heard that the woman with whom he was having an affair was in tears as she contacted my brothel firm. Her parents were angry and she was ordered to use all their savings to pay back the alimony. So she asked if the amount could be a little less. I started crying to my brother. Of course, my brother refused to do. That's because he had received her parents' agreement to pay the full amount of the fee. Now, as for Kyle, he's on the road to ruin on his own. Kyle was all set to sue me, but apparently that plan fell through because he couldn't find a lawyer. Then it sounds like the alimony has made things nasty between him and his affair partner. And as for my ex-mother-in-law, she got mentally disturbed by this incident and suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and has been in need of nursing care. And what happened to me and Eula, I must tell you all about it, right?
Mom, I'm off.
Have a good day.
Eula is currently working part-time to earn money for college. She goes to a regular high school and commutes from my apartment. We also decided to use the alimony Eula's higher education. Of course, Kyle has also contacted me several times for reconciliation.
You guys, 11, forgive you. So come, or else you'll be in for a world of...
I get threatened every time like this. I recorded the call and consulted who's a lawyer. I filed a damage report and claimed was being threatened. And Kyle, as expected, tried to get in touch with Eula, but she didn't respond.
I'm your protector. You know what happens when you mess.
Yes, I'm glad you didn't get custody. And I don't want to live with a father like you.
What? What do you mean? That's...
Dad, when a child is over the age, he or she can choose which parent they want to live with. When you explained to me about what I was going to do about it, you told me, right? You said you can do that on your... So I had Mom take custody, but you were traveling overseas all with your mistress. So that's why you never asked about it. My uncle, who is a lawyer...
No way. I don't accept that. You've got to be kidding me.
Well, why don't you check the family register? My last name will probably be changed Mom's maiden name. So...
With that said, Eula hung up the phone. My husband never learned his lesson, so give me custody, or I'll show him no mercy. Calling again and again. This led to my ex-husband being charged with intimidation, so he got interrogated by the police. The case was dropped because it was a first offense, but word got around in the neighbor he had been arrested by the police. It seems that made him feel ashamed. I haven't heard from my ex-husband since. For years, I had endured for my daughter's sake. That my daughter would take revenge on my adulterous husband, I had no idea. With such a kind-hearted daughter, I want both of us to continue living by supporting each other as mother and daughter from here on.
Thank you, Mom, for keeping me safe years.
I was the one who was being protected. I didn't know you could be so dependent on a computer. When did you grow up? I'm glad you've grown up to be such girl.
Now 11 have to step up and do my hearsake. My name is